Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nomads No Worries. Today's guest is the founder of the PrideNomad, the Daily Hug, and Seagrass Media, and many other businesses he's built while traveling the world and helping thousands of queer nomads feel seen and supported. So, welcome to the show, the one and only Ken Krell.
Woo! Thank you, gentlemen. It's good to be here.
Yes, thank you. And I guess we'll just get started. If you want to give, I know that introduction was really good. I basically covered everything that anyone needs to know. But no, if you want to give our listeners, our viewers, a kind of a background about what you're doing right now and kind of how you got there, that would be awesome.
It all began when I was 12 years old. This journey, we talk about being a nomad and how all this came to be. I left the U.S. in 2009. And after the big economic crash, I had lost millions of dollars on a real estate project in Costa Rica. I mean, millions of dollars. It would have set me up, and all my investors lost money. It was a disaster. By the way, if you hear a cat in the background, I'm staying at a friend's house in Sydney because I'm literally couch surfing for this month while I'm away. And the cat has a mind of its own because I think he wants to be on the podcast as well.
That's fine. We'll ask some questions for the cat later. We'll do you first, and then we'll interview the cat.
Works for me. It's nice. As an aside, it's nice to be traveling and to be playing with someone else's pets because A, I don't have to clean a litter box, but B, the idea of having a pet, and I've had pets over the years. It really does feed the heart. Traveling without a companion, without a pet, whatever, does create a whole lot of loneliness. It's a whole nother conversation, which we'll get to, I'm sure. So, as I visit friends and they do have pets, whether they be dogs or cats, and the cat sleeps with me and stuff, it really does bring back some of the humanity that can be missing when you're running all over the planet.
Yeah.
So it's been nice. I mean, I've got scratches to show for it, and it's pretty awesome. But kind of back to the journey, I left the States in 2009, moved to Bangkok, and I chose Thailand because, frankly, of the Southeast Asian countries, it's probably the easiest and least expensive place to go and live, at least as far as I'm concerned, and the best food in the world. I tell people that that Thai food is so good they named a country after it. So I spent about 10 years in Bangkok. 2 of those years, I put everything in storage and lived out of a backpack and a rollerboard traveling the world. Yes, true digital nomad style. And along the way, of course, I was running businesses that did not require me to be anywhere location dependent. And I've been a professional speaker for so many years. So what I was doing during a lot of that time was being on stages in Hong Kong and in India and in Kuala Lumpur and Singapore and Australia, a lot of Australia and so on. So I was nomadic kind of because I had to be. That was part of what I was doing, being on stages, but it became the norm. Some people, they're like, how can you do that? I'm like, you just get on a plane. I don't understand people that that can't figure out how to travel. It floors me. Because the technology, all you do is you drive your car to the airport, you park your car, take an Uber, you walk through a little hallway, you get on this tube, and then the next thing you know, a few hours later, after maybe an Ambien or whatever, you're in another country. Oh.
Yeah, Jack and I joke all the time about, people who sell these courses that are supposed to teach people how to travel and how to be a nomad and these things. We're like, I don't know, it's really just a couple of steps. You just buy a plane ticket and get on a plane and you go.
I've had, one of the offers we've had with our PrideNomad letter was an hour-long consulting call with me. And it was a lead magnet. It was something we played with. And every now and then someone still finds the link and they get on a call with me, which is always cool because you get to know who your audience is. With a business, you should always know who your audience is, what they're looking for, because we don't always really know. So I had this one gentleman on the phone, and he's asking me all these fear questions. What about this? What about that? I'm like, get on the fucking airplane, for God's sakes. Just go. Because the more you think about it, the more you're going to spin. And the fact is that you can handle 90% of it. And the good news, of course, with our branding is that we'll help you. I mean, if there's a question, we don't sell coaching and all that. I left that business a long time ago. But, there's a community of people that will help you. And even if you don't have us, no matter what happens, there is a community of people on the street, strangers that will save you if you're falling, and it has always been that way for me. So, as long as you're not a dickhead, and that's a technical term, by the way, there's actually a matchbook brand here in Australia called Dickhead. As long as you're a decent person, you're going to get help. So all these folks that are like living in the fear of, how do I do this? Stop spinning, because I bet you they do that with every other part of their life too, and start living. Because the adventure that's here is incredible. The ability for us to really be borderless and experience new things. I was in Colombia recently. I've written about Colombia in the newsletter. Everyone's telling me how much they love Colombia. I'd never been. So finally I was like, let's get on an airplane and go so I can, live it. And I ended up in this little town called Jardin, Jardin. It was supposed to be like a 3-hour bus ride. It was 5 hours from Medellin, up in the mountains. Really cute little, adorable little town. I could spend weeks there. It was just so cute. The vibe was fantastic. I had the best burger of my life there. I mean, no lie. I mean, I shot some video about it and it hasn't been posted yet. But I mean, honest to God, it was incredible. All because I took a shot and went to a town that was like, where is this place? So those are the kind of experiences. And then the people that I met along the way are pretty amazing. So how people can not do that, I don't understand. And people that never live past their little community. It's crazy.
That's what we're all about here, I'd say, is taking those risks, taking those chances. And yeah, obviously there are plenty of intricacies that come along with living this lifestyle, being a nomad. But as far as getting started, that's up to you. You just gotta make the move. That's what we always say.
Airplane.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's journey's different, right? Like you find the hamburger, I might find, the steak or something like that. So, people's stories rhyme. They're different.
It's true. And what's fun is that I was in Cambodia, and this is now 15 years ago. I can't believe it was so long ago. But I'm running around the Angkor Wat temples, which if anybody is breathing, listening to this, you have to go if you haven't been already. It's just, these were built like 1,000 years ago. It's just incredible. And as I'm being driven around, these children, 5 years old, whatever, are on the street waving and smiling. And it was just the most inspiring thing to see people who are living really at the poverty or sub-poverty level that are happy. They're not on drugs. They're not going through counseling. They're just living their own best life. And they have such a much more simple existence than those of us sophisticated people. And that's one of the things I learned ages ago. I was in Bali, same thing. I had a driver and I had the tour guide. They make like $11 a day, and they were happy. They had their family, they had their temple. Life was good. So what the hell is wrong with all these other Westerners that are on the Prozacs or whatever the drug of the day is? And who cares who all these social media people are and what they're doing? That doesn't relate to us. What the Kardashians do I don't even know who that they are, honestly. But how does that affect my life? I'm having the best burger of my life in Colombia. Leave me alone.
Yeah,
People get wrapped up.
I think we create a lot of our own problems. Like you said, I'll go to visit countries. I see people in terrible poverty, these situations that for me look horrible, but they don't know anything different. Like they're just happy to be there, happy to be alive. Yeah, they may not have the social media and looking at the Kardashians and comparing themselves to these people. So they're just happy.
Yeah. And the thing that I learned so long ago was that having less is actually more. When I lost everything, house was taken, car was taken, had to declare bankruptcy. All this crazy shit that would drive people crazy. And I was so stressed out, I actually had a heart attack about it. Literally in the hospital, with a stent put in, all that madness. And they said it was stress related. Who knew? I thought I was coping with it pretty well. But what was interesting was that finally having nothing, having lost technically everything, I had like $20 to my name in Cambodia, and I was happy. I even felt guilty for being happy because, like, with all this madness, how could I be happy with all this crap happening? There was so much less. I didn't have car insurance. I didn't have to worry about a mortgage payment. I'm paying $7 a night for a hotel with air conditioning and a private bath, and free internet and breakfast. what more is there? It was awesome. And experiencing new things and great food and meeting amazing people along the way, because those of us that are nomadic are a different kind of a tribe, more interesting, better stories, and generous, typically incredibly generous with our wisdom. And what a great way to live. I don't care how old or young you are. I know no better way. I'll give you an example of that, because if we're talking about people that are feeling what's the word I want, hesitant to live this life, I'll give you the kind of the good, bad, and the ugly all in one little story. Colombia. So I get a flight from Fort Lauderdale to Medellin, and there's like an hour-long wait at immigration. Now, I hate lines. I mean, I absolutely, I'd rather get a root canal than wait on a line for something. But I'm on this line waiting, nothing you can do. And there's people in front of me and behind me, they're all Spanish speakers, all have been there before, but coming in from the Miami area. And we started talking, and they were giving me advice on where to go, the neighborhoods to play in. They told me to go use Uber to travel rather than use public transportation, and all these other things that I would never have thought of, because I was staying in like the area that tourists go to. They were like, no, go to this other neighborhood, which I'm forgetting all of a sudden. And even some of the places to eat. So I'm writing this all down, taking notes on it. And of course, I built my trip based upon that. Right? It was really cool. We traded numbers. One of the women was messaging me, "How's it going? You having a good time?" It was great. Well, that was where I thought it was going to end, but it was far more important than that. And I want your listeners to pay close attention to this. I was there. It turned out that when I was there, it was Pride weekend, and I had no idea. It was just one of those synchronistic things. You ever get to a place and it's like they're having this giant festival? Well, that's what happens to me a lot. I was in Nepal, same thing. It was amazing. Anyway, so I'm at this Pride thing. Now, by the way, Medellin has a crime rate that is less than that of Houston. Okay, so we're in a place that's relatively safe. However, somebody decided they wanted my iPhone more than me, and I got pickpocketed during this event. Now, and I thought my phone was in a really good place. I thought it was really, really, I was good. First time I've ever been pickpocketed, and instantly, phone's gone. Now, that's my video recorder. That's my contacts. I mean, it's your lifeline.
Yeah.
I was devastated. I was with someone who I'd met online. He walked me back to my hotel, tried to comfort me, but there was no comfort. He couldn't relate to me. And I'm thinking, oh shit, I've been there 2 days. I'm getting on a plane back to the States. This is fucked up. I'm not going to be here. I mean, I was going through all this in my mind, and then I'm thinking, wait a minute, I teach this stuff. I can't leave. This is stupid. It can happen anywhere. I've had issues in other parts of the world too. This is just another day in the life. On the way back to my hotel, this guy says hello to me, knows me by name. Hey, Ken, remember me? We were on the at immigration. That was the husband of the woman who was staying in touch with me. He remembered me. We started talking. I told him what happened. He instantly knew exactly what to say, what to do. He told me that they nearly got ripped off the night before, and I had someone that got me. And he was like, if you need any money, do you need this? You'll be fine. His wife joined us. They welcomed me back to the hotel, and it saved my heart. And the best part of it is that I had a backup phone, because I travel with a teleprompter for my videos, and I have a used iPhone 12 that I use as a camera for the teleprompter. So Ken's got a backup camera. All I needed was a couple of hours to download from iCloud. That's great. But the best part is I have, if anyone does not have an iPhone, you need to get one, because I have Apple Care Plus on this. There's insurance for loss. I had a new phone in 4 days.
Oh yeah, we're team iPhone here, Jack and I.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the best thing ever. That was
the cat also loves an iPhone.
Yeah, the cat just threw a party about Apple products over there.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, meow, Apple.
Yeah.
I tell people when I'm on stage, those of you that are Android users, we pray for you. But it saved my life. And honest to God, the claim was like all of about 72 seconds, and it was instantly approved. No police report, none of that. It saved my life. Now, that it didn't ship the phone to Colombia, unfortunately. My mom could have transshipped it. It sent it to my mom's house, but who cares? I had a backup phone, and I was back in business again. But so much of that emotional situation was handled by someone I'd met inadvertently on an immigration line. So, among the lessons are don't be shy, talk to people, because they will save you, and even if it's just a hug or someone that says, I get you, I know how you're feeling, and really does get it, it can change everything. And from that point forward, the trip went fine. And that was just great. I got to love Colombia. I can't wait to go back and do the rest of the country because I didn't get to see all of it. There's a lot to see. But those things make a difference. And I think that everyone that's hesitant about traveling needs to recognize that there is, if you let it be, there is a backup plan for everybody. You're not going to be left stranded. I was in, what the hell was I? Myanmar, Burma, 15 plus years ago. And I've been there since then, so I don't know what's changed. I'm sure a lot has, like the junta and the coups and all that shit. But back then, the money you transacted was crisp U.S. dollars, not crumbled, not ripped up, but crisp USD, not their own currency, U.S. dollars. And there's no ATMs there, or there weren't any ATMs there. So if you didn't bring enough cash, you were screwed. Luckily, I had a friend there that I knew, so he helped me a little bit when I got short. But the last night I was there, I ran out of cash. I thought I'd stay in the airport because I had no place to stay. Airport closes at night. It was pouring down rain. What the hell do I do? The local airport hotel didn't put me up, but they paid for me to stay at another place down the street, put me into a taxi, paid for all of it, just so that I wouldn't be left stranded. Now, think of the mileage they've gotten from that over the years, people being nice. Typically, you're not going to be screwed. And I also think that if you believe that and have that sense that there is a safety cocoon around you energetically, you'll be fine. If you believe that life is fucked and you're going to be a victim, well, you'll live that, you'll create that. But I always think there's always going to be a positive at the end of everything. There's always a good thing that comes from it. And that's kept me going.
Yeah, I think a lot of digital nomads have that mindset. Like, I don't think if people thought the world was a terrible place, they probably wouldn't. They wouldn't be a good fit to be a digital nomad. You got to have an open mind and go in, take the good with the bad. And we've had bad experiences, but we're still here doing it. We're running around to try new countries just to see what else is out there. So,
yeah. What's your favorite so far?
Man, Jack, what do you got with that? I'll tell you what. We
All right.
were actually going to ask you this question, Ken, but
okay. So don't answer the question. Turn it back on me. I get it. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
We'll go first. We'll go first. So we make you feel comfortable answering it. So Jack, you go first.
My favorite place ever?
Yeah.
When someone asks me this, I usually say, "Can I just say within the last year?" Because I don't even remember the previous 4 years.
Totally fair.
So in the past year, my favorite country has been South Africa. Just a beautiful, beautiful place.
Yeah. No, I'll second that.
I'm gonna just go with Egypt. It's a pretty unique spot. It's and I really like that. I like that it's got its own character, energy, good history, good food, chaos. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. It's funny. I'm going to go pedestrian, and I'm going to say right now Australia, but I've just fallen in love with it over the past few years. But you're right. There's so many places. I mean, every place I go, I fall in love with. There are a few places that I've not enjoyed, and also I choose to like them. I go in knowing I'm going to enjoy this. I had a great time in Colombia. Can't wait to go back. The food was amazing. It was inexpensive. The weather was fine. Medellin was kind of magical in so many ways. Thailand, one of my favorite places in the world. I lived there for 10 years. Incredible people, polluted, unfortunately, at least Bangkok is. So if you leave your windows open, as I tend to do, because I don't like aircon, this is going to be a film that's on everything. And I didn't realize until years later that same thing that I'm cleaning off my table is going into my lungs. So, it's like, oh, gee whiz. But the lifestyle there is amazing. So every place, I was just in London. I love London. Would I want to live there? For a little while, probably, because I love theater, but not in the winter.
Yeah.
It's cold as hell there. And that's the biggest challenge, I think, right now, at least for me, is there's so many places in so little time. And I tell people and advise people that don't go like you're notching a bedpost, with your conquests. This isn't that. Don't go for 2 days. Go for 2 weeks minimum. Do a
Sometimes I feel conquesty though. Like
yeah.
sometimes I'm like, you know what? I am gonna notch a couple spots on my belt in this week.
We're
Like, is
talking.
that okay, or is that like a
Are we talking
guilty
about
pleasure?
locations? Or are we talking about something social?
Oh, locations. Yeah.
Something social. Jack might do that also. I don't know.
Well, you do need to get to know the local community. You learn a lot that way. No, I agree. And there's some. I was in Hardin for like 3 days. That was fine. And really, it's small enough town. You don't need to spend more than a couple of days there. Angkor Wat,
Yeah.
we'll go for 2 days to Angkor Wat. I stayed for 3, or actually stayed in Angkor Wat for Siem Reap for like about a week or so. But yeah, I get it. Blasting through and getting a taste is fine, and then you go back, like it's a buffet. Go for a couple days. If you like it, stay longer. If not, move on. Just like if you're going to try the, whatever is on the food line. So yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. I just think that getting the feel for how people actually live in these locations means a lot, and even connecting. When I was in Colombia, I ended up staying at this one cafe for a few days. I went back to where I was living, but when I was working, I was going to the same place because I tend to become a creature of habit. And the owner got to know me already. Because I was bringing my dishes back. I'm like, no, I'll take it. And it felt like I was already coming back home again. They knew me already. That means something to me. We're not a stranger, and that only comes because you're there for a little bit. So that's what you lose when you bebop over. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but there's both sides. So,
Oh yeah, I think overall we're more into the slow, longer term travel type of thing.
which means I can't do
Just for what you're
everything.
saying.
Yeah, but the problem
Yeah.
is you can't do everything this year. As I was talking to a friend of mine last night, it's like I still haven't, and I haven't done anything really in Uruguay yet, even though I've written about it, because Uruguay is a great place to be from everything I've studied. Haven't been to Patagonia yet. Haven't been to Ecuador yet. Haven't been to Galapagos yet. On and on and on. It's like haven't been. Well, shit. And I love, but here's the thing. I love being here in Sydney. It's great. I've got great theater. I've got friends here. I've got the gym, all these things that I love to do. But yet this rest of the world is calling to me. How do I balance that? I can't be everywhere. It's very frustrating.
It is. The more we travel, it's like our list keeps getting longer. So I think that to Jack's point, it's like we are sometimes notching the, just checking things up. But it's because like we have this list. It's like I do want to check some things off, but at the same time, I can't go everywhere. So when I do go to some place, it's like, I'll stay for a month or longer so I can really enjoy it. But it's hard. There's too many places in this world.
I know. And then when you like someplace, and it's like, I want more of that chocolate ice cream, but yet there's still more things to taste. And these are really horrible problems. The people listening to us going, what's wrong with you people? But if you're going to choose a problem, what a great problem to have.
So, okay, here's a question. So it's difficult to always nail down your top favorite place, but sometimes it's easier if we categorize it a bit. So since you're kind of an expert on this topic, what are some of the best, gay friendly countries or cities maybe that you visited that, you feel welcome, that your audience, if you're speaking to them, you could say, oh, go here. You guys will have a great time.
I'm going to give you actually the top 10.
Let's go.
Because we do have our own index. It's called the PrideNomad Index, and we rank these things. We laid 2 indexes on top of each other. We took a digital nomad index, and I forget which one we used that related to accessibility, cost, Wi-Fi availability, digital nomad visa availability, and so on. And then we laid on top of that whether they're gay friendly, whether there's gay marriage, whether you're going to get stoned to death like you would experience in the UAE, things like that. So number 1 was Spain. The Netherlands came in at number 2. Canada came in at number 3, followed by Portugal, Malta, Norway. The USA is 7, but dropping rapidly based on the new administration. Finland, Uruguay, and Thailand. Costa Rica was 11th, by the way. Israel came in at 13, Iceland at 12. And I look at those whenever we write about something in the newsletter. We reference the where they stand, but those are the top ones. When I did a survey of my audience a few weeks ago about what they wanted to hear more about first, and the first was Portugal. And Lisbon was always my plan B if I couldn't stay in Sydney. Although the prices have gone up so much on housing, it's deterred me because we've all fucked it up by going. But so, and then I asked them, what do you want to go learn about next in terms of an escape plan? And I gave them a choice of Thailand, Spain, or Mexico. And I thought Thailand would win. Maybe that's because of my own bias, which is why you should never believe what you think the audience wants. Overwhelming 57% of my audience said they wanted to learn more about going to Mexico and using that as their expat place to go. So we have a new expat guide to Mexico that's coming out in about 10 days. So yeah, I mean, and all this stuff changes, but Lisbon has always been, I think, the go-to place. In Portugal. Porto is really more my speed because Porto just has magic. It's just magic to it. There's an energy there, and I could spend time there. I've got a friend in London who wanted to live off the grid, and he finally, after a few years of trying to get it done, bought a house that needed a lot of work. About, I forget where exactly, but somewhere in like dead center of the country, away from everything. Like there's nothing there. And I'm going to be doing an interview with him in a few days, just because people need to know about how he actually did that. But he stays in Portugal for about a month or two at a time, goes back to London and has massage and beauty clients. So he makes the money he needs to make and goes back to Portugal. And the nice thing about Europe is, of course, that it's an easy flight. So, you can manage that, which is great for proximity. Pick a place like where I am here in Australia. As much as I love it, it's devastating to stay here. Because anytime you want to leave, you're going to have jet lag, and jet lag for this distance is a week.
Okay, wow, well, first of all, it's funny you bring up Lisbon because I feel like the word lesbian is almost like the same word as Lisbon. So that fits perfectly to me. Another one you brought up is the Netherlands, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was the first country to legalize gay marriage, or
I forget.
Legalize.
They're up there. I mean, they're up there.
They're up there.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with Uruguay. I think Uruguay was the first country to legalize gay marriage in South America.
Yeah, so, they seem to be the most progressive country in South America. So.
Yeah, which is great, and a lot of people are moving there now because of that, and it's becoming like the place, kind of like the Europe of South America. So it's on my radar to go down and visit, but it's far.
Yeah, I just came from Chile. It's like it doesn't seem like it's as far because there's no big ocean in between, and I'm like, wow, that was way worse than flying to Europe. It's a lot more. So
really interesting.
Yeah,
but you don't get jet lag because you're in the same time zone, which is kind of cool.
There you see, that's the trade-off. There we go. That's the positive spin. I like that.
Yeah.
So
well, part of my issue with that is like thinking about Mexico. Is it still, because it's the same time zone as the U.S., I'm still U.S. centric. I'm still dealing with U.S. madness. Being on this side of the world, because you guys are sleeping when we're awake, it's like there's this extra separation. There's an extra distance because I live on Zoom. So, there's always that. I'm still always live. When COVID hit, people are like, well, how devastating. I'm like, nothing changed. I was just doing the same stuff. It wasn't going out at night. So, so that's a pro and a con. Easier to do business if you're doing business with North America. But if you want a separation, the time zone is a really good way to have it.
True. Yeah, your mother-in-law can't call you if you're in a different time zone, so that could be a positive. But
yeah, my phones are off between 6 p.m. and 7 a.m. You can't bother me.
So speaking of positive, let's flip into something not so positive. What about sometimes maybe you have not felt so safe or not super welcome when you've been in a country, and maybe how'd you navigate that?
I can't think of any time I've felt unsafe. Really haven't. I mean, I choose my places based on a comfort level, I think, an energy level. But I really haven't felt unsafe at all. I mean, maybe on occasion I might be down a dark street somewhere, but I would feel that in Boston or Cleveland. That's just common sense stuff. But no, I I don't think I've ever felt unsafe in a country. Now, mind you, I haven't been to Egypt yet, and I haven't been to Dubai. Although, like for gay people, Dubai, they love gay Dubai, but the UAE is like they'll stone you to death. You don't walk down the street holding hands. So countries like that, will I go? Yes, but I'll be discreet. Same thing with Egypt. Egypt is not a pro-gay country, but a lot of gay tourists go there with guides, and they're left alone. So to that extent, going individually, I mean, I'll go individually anywhere. I don't know that I necessarily care, but I'm also going to be discreet about it. I'm not running around with pride flags and trying to make a statement. I think that's just stupid to
Yeah.
do that. I mean, it's like read the room. And it's something of just being an American. So I was in Mykonos a lot of years ago, and at a restaurant, and a table next to me was filled with people from another country. I won't tell you that they're from Australia, but they were so loud. I mean, they were loving life, but they were obnoxiously loud. And I remember turning to the waiter and said, "They're not from my country." Because one thing that I think a lot of nomads may not recognize is that we're representatives of our country, and they take cues from us. And certainly for the gay community, I've got a lot of people that will say, "Wait a minute, Egypt, whatever, anti-gay, these other countries anti-gay, and all this." And yes, a lot of them are. Think about shouldn't forget about the country in Africa. Well, they'll kill you, and they're looking for people. But if we don't go and support the community there, and show even the local people that we're not a pariah, how are things going to change? So there's both sides to that thing. But yeah, I haven't felt unsafe anywhere.
Yeah, I think it was Uganda. Like they
Yes, that's
just
it. That's it. Yeah,
passed a
horrible,
yeah,
horrible.
yeah,
Would I go to Uganda? Yeah, I guess I would, because I'm, to walk the talk, but I'm not going to run around with the pride flag,
yeah.
But they need support. That community needs support, and for all of us that have minorities, whatever we're part of, there's a lot of stuff going on right now in the world that we have to overcome. And are there right answers or wrong answers? I don't know. I mean, I think the best thing we can do is just be as understanding as we can and respect other people's positions on things, even if we don't agree with them, and have a dialogue that's respectful rather than "we're going to kill you."
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a middle ground between "we're gonna kill you" and "we
Yeah,
respect you."
yeah.
Let's just try to find
Well,
more of a balance
yeah.
there.
I mean, I was in Bangkok during the coup, and which was, and people are like, "Oh, how was it?" It was a non-event for me, but I also had to maintain the position that I'm Switzerland. I have an opinion on things, but I'm a guest in your country. I can't get involved. Furthermore, if I was to comment on the monarchy, I'd be in jail, because their laws don't allow that kind of commentary. I won't even say it here, which I don't agree with, of course. The best thing about the coup was that since a lot of the streets were closed, there were new street vendors with better food, and it was really cool. When they went back to sort of normal, those people with the fabulous food carts were gone. I couldn't find them anymore. So, but yeah, if we stay out of the fray of that craziness, the craziness won't be part of our life. And that's the one really cool thing, is that we're free from all the local crazy stuff. That if you're American and you're back in the US, you're part of all the drama. But when you're out of the US, you're not. And the country that you're in, like any drama here in Australia, they had a bunch of protests this past weekend that are similar to US stuff. And it's just awful shit going on here now. Partially, I think, because the US stuff is traveling over the ocean. But it's not my problem. And it's not my problem is not exactly the best way to look at the world, but it's not my problem. I don't have to get involved and take it as personally, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I've experienced that a lot, like where there's like a really crazy part of town, but I want to live in the non-crazy part. But I've also done it where I've done both, where I lived in the crazy part for a while and then I couldn't handle it anymore and I had to go somewhere else. So like I feel like it just kind of depends, like kind of what mood you're in. I feel like sometimes I go to cities and I'm in like a tired mood because maybe the previous location was really intense.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's like it just goes both ways, right?
Well, I mean, listen, we're human. We all have different energy levels. I was in Scotland at the beginning of August for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which I do every year. It's like, and if you've not been to Edinburgh for the Fringe and you like theater or dance or cabaret or burlesque or whatever, you're missing, your life is going past without being, you got to go. It's incredible. It's so much fun. And I saw 44 performances in 9 days. And I took my 91-year-old mom with me, and we had a blast.
Wow.
But and that will wear your ass out, you know? And then we went to London and did theater every day because that's just how we roll. But now that I'm back here in Sydney, and now the Sydney Fringe is on, so I'm looking at that because I do reviews on some of these shows. I'm like, oh, I'm fucking tired. I can't go to that one. That's just too far away. I want to stay on the couch. So yeah, you know, it's okay to have that regenerative time because we do need that. You know, it takes energy to do a zip line. It takes energy to go visit a new part of town, and to even take in all that data because it's new data that we're receiving. And sometimes, Jack, you're 100% right. It's like, let me just watch Netflix and just, you know, have popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I'm,
the only relatable thing Jack and I have done is Coachella, where we see a lot of concerts within 3 days. But anyway, sorry, go on, Jack.
yeah, that's very high energy. I was thinking about other high energy spots, and I was thinking like the Medinas in Morocco. I feel like it's pretty chaotic,
Very,
you know,
very.
or like some of the Asian cities. I feel like I remember Shanghai being really chaotic too. But those can be really fun.
Oh yeah,
So
Bangkok is crazy,
yeah,
but
Bangkok is crazy.
you can make it as crazy or not as you want. I mean, it's what you choose to do. If you want to just do a chill, you can, or if you want to be out till 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, have at it. You'll do that in Lisbon, and they start at what 2 o'clock in the morning. It's crazy. I don't know how the hell they do that, but they do.
And see, like I would too, because it's like I'm kind of like a big like I want to do what everyone else is doing. So if everyone's partying till 7 a.m., like I guess I will. You know what? Fine.
Now, how old are you, Jack?
I'm 33.
Okay, you're at Jack. I'm more than twice your age. Um,
Okay, you
okay,
don't look it.
thank
Yeah,
you.
you look great.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
love you. I'm 68, and which people like, holy shit. But I still think of myself as being in mid 30s. But my body recognizes that, you know, being out till 7 o'clock in the morning, you will pay for that later. Now, mind you, I've been up since 4 because I had a training that I was attending based on US time. So I do a lot of that shit, which sucks when you're overseas, you know. But I've had to make the choice of what's the penalty I'm willing to pay. Am I willing to feel like shit the next day or not? I mean, you're going to laugh at me, and it's almost an embarrassing conversation. I went to Koh Phangan in Thailand to do the full moon party, and I went with a friend of mine and one of my business partners, and he was there with his girlfriend. I was there solo, and we're going to go out that night to the party, which was going to be like an all night event and all this business, right? Well, the two of them crapped out on me and bailed. They went to bed. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I don't really know that I want to be in a completely drunk, crazy environment right now by myself. And I went to bed too. And I was like, how fucking lame is that? We went there to do that event, you know? So it's still on the list of things to maybe or maybe not do. But I got that far. I got close. I got to Koh Phangan. You know?
I would round up. You know, it's all good.
Yeah, it
You're
is. I
there.
mean, and yes,
Yeah.
and to say like at your age, I absolutely would have done that. No question. You know, and so many of, for example, my readers, a lot of them are older people, and their journey is different. You know, they've done a lot. They don't need to do the all night stuff because they recognize the wear and tear on their body. But that's it. My mom's 91. She was out to me late at night in Edinburgh and in London. She didn't give a shit. She'll sleep in.
It's all perspective, you know, and there's always someone older than you doing the same thing. You got to remember
Absolutely.
that. You
Absolutely.
know, it's like these 20-year-olds, they're saying I'm too old, but like I've been telling Steve all the time, like I'm entering my party prime.
Yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like these are going to be the hardest partying years of my life. You know, like, and I was in a fraternity, so it's just like, you know, like,
You still are. That's what this is.
yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, maybe that's why I like it so much.
That, that's also why I love this travel piece of it so much because it seems to be that, I mean, statistically, there's more younger people that are nomadic than there are older people. And that keeps me younger because I'll go with people, you know, they'll drag me along. I'd never snowboarded before, but a number of years ago I was doing stuff in California, and these kids that were working for me were like, come, let's go. I was like, I ski, I don't snowboard. You're going to snowboard today. And these 22-year-olds were teaching me snowboarding. Like, okay. You know, so having that cross-pollination of age, I don't like, it's going to sound really bad, don't quote me on this, I don't like older people because they're old and they're crusty and they're not flexible. They don't want to try new things. You know, it's like I love younger people, that younger energy of let's explore. And yes, there's a lot of people that are older that are incredible with their energy, but the old crusty ones, ew,
The crusty ones.
The oldest nomad I ever met, he was 84, and he went swimming with us and all this stuff. Like, he was by himself, 84,
yeah,
traveling the world.
yeah.
Like, I was like, okay, like, I got a long way to go. I'm just warming up, you know?
I met a guy in Cambodia that was living. He was living in a place even cheaper than me. I think it was like $4 or $5 a night. He'd been traveling for 27 years, and he runs his life. He trades in the morning, so he's been just managing a portfolio. And he's a photographer, and he would do one or two calendars a year, and then they'd sell it at a show. And that's it. And I mean, relationships are a whole nother conversation, but he's loving his life, and why not? So, you know, he's still playing the I'm young game. And, you know, I think you should play the I'm young game until you die. Because the minute you start playing the I'm old game, you're on the way to the coffin anyway. So you may as well.
Yeah, you're already nailing it yourself at that point.
You know, my mom is.
You're already digging the hole.
My mom inspires me. She's 91. And she's and she's got some health issues, but she's running around on a 4-wheel red scooter all over the world. She right now, as we do this, she's on a cruise in Alaska with my sister. Because she can't be stopped. She wants to live to 100. You know,
it's a great goal. I want to live to 100 too. That's a really good goal, honestly.
Yeah, you know,
it's kind of ambitious. You know,
it is. You know, especially in today's society. But yeah, I mean, but we're living our best lives, and some people are like, how can people do that? Because it's fucking fun. You know, and how do you afford it? Well, you create businesses that are location independent. You know, I run a number of software companies. We built a tool to help people overcome loneliness because it's a giant issue, and it's a voice AI bot. So we're deploying that to assisted living facilities and to digital nomads and to veterans and caregivers, because people are in the U.S. alone 400 billion. I forget the number. It's just 400, a lot of people. The economy is destroyed by loneliness due to relationship issues, productivity issues, and so on. So if we can give someone something to talk to that doesn't judge you, it's a great tool. So we've got that's out there. We have something, the Daily Hug, which is a motivational newsletter that comes out every day, just with something to help support you emotionally, that will tie into the Alex Listens product, alexlistens.com. So we're doing all these things that can help enhance lives. But guess what? I don't have to be anywhere except where there's Wi-Fi. You know, and my team is virtual, you know, so they're based mostly in the Philippines, because the Filipinos are incredible, and Philippines is another great place to go. So
where's the worst Wi-Fi you've ever had?
Shit. You know what? The worst Wi-Fi, I remember Israel, which shocked me because I thought Israel would be, you know, with all the technology. But I remember one night I was up in a town called Nahariya. I have relatives there, and they're like, "Oh, we have Wi-Fi, no problem. You can do your webinar there." Oh, no. They were like, it was like one signal. And then I went to a coffee shop that was open all night. There was almost worse, and it was loud. It was horrible. And that was, I don't know, 10 years ago. Costa Rica was bad before, because I lived in Costa Rica for a while, and I was on like 28.8 dial-up. But now they've got Wi-Fi. So I was in Costa Rica about a month or two ago. It was beautiful. But yeah, worst ever was, from a nomadic side of things, was Israel, shockingly enough.
I would not have guessed that.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I know. And when I first got to Thailand, I learned this. You know, when you're going to go to a hotel, find out what their internet speed is, because the free internet gives you slow internet. The upgraded internet gives you fast internet. I didn't know that. So there I was at this hotel trying to do my stuff on Zoom, pre-Zoom actually, and it was hard. You know, I was like, you're misrepresenting. So yeah, it's at speed's really important. So
Oh, I was just going to ask about the Daily Hug because I
Yeah,
think it's an awesome idea.
thank you.
I've subscribed, I've been checking it out. But I'm curious, how do you balance that? Like, how do you balance being heartfelt but not sounding just like another Instagram, like corny quote that people find on the internet all over the place? Like,
It's all in the
how do you
prompt.
make it good?
It's all in the prompt. It's all AI generated. I swear to God. I built it with a bunch of what I wanted. I wanted it to be pithy. I wanted it to be inspirational. I wanted a few times a week or a few times a month to have an inspirational quote that's pulled out. And I look at all of them, but I do have AI created for me because it's hard to manage otherwise. And it got cute. And I pulled other people's content to be inspired by it, and that's how it's created. Sometimes it sucks, and I have to go back and go, no, what were you thinking? But it's done pretty well, and I haven't even monetized it yet. Right now, it's just been going out with just something to kind of have you think a little bit. Sometimes it lands, sometimes it doesn't for anybody. But yeah, I think we all need that daily hug. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
you know,
Have you ever had like a reader or someone, who's hit you up and made you feel like, yeah, this is why I do this. This is why I
yes,
want to help
yes,
people. Like,
yes.
I'm sure you've had several, but maybe there's one or two that come to mind that you want to share.
Sure. Hang on a second, because I just happen to have. I didn't plan on this, but I do happen to have some. Let me go back real quick. Where is it? Yeah, I looked at this just earlier today, as a matter of fact. So this will be good. Yeah. So I wrote to you back in June about becoming a nomad. Well, I want to give you an update. I decided to leave for Madrid, Spain in 2027. I'd like to go to Pride there in June, but it was your book, No Closets, No Borders, that really helped me see I needed to nail down a time. It's got a book to roll, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I'm writing a thank you for writing the book and maybe a bit more of accountability. It was life-changing for me. That just, it's like, because when you do something like what I'm doing, you're doing it in a void, and when you get stuff like that, it's really pretty incredible. Um, I've met people along the way, and when I was in Colombia, I met a guy in the street, and I always wear my branding, always, and I've got a QR code on the back, so that people were like, "Can I scan you?" And this one guy was like, "I read your newsletter." I was like, "Yes."
Nice.
I was at a party at Whistler back in January. Another person came up to me, I love your newsletter. So it's like, okay, because when we do what we do, it, it's a leap of faith. When people bought my Portugal guide, and we had a bunch of people do, it was like I got validated. And because often I don't see a lot of clicks. I don't see it. It just feels like, why am I doing this? So it's nice to know. And then again, these people that I get on calls every now and then, it means something. It really does mean something, and that's nice.
So, do you have any advice? I guess, maybe there's someone who's out there, they're feeling lost. Maybe they're part of the LGBTQ community. Maybe they're unsure about travel thing, the nomad lifestyle. What would you say to them?
I think the first thing is breathe. um, people are people everywhere, and that's, I think, the good news. Certainly, most of my audience is American, and they're going through a whole lot of uncertainty right now. Certainly in the trans community, but the rest of the world isn't. Not to the extent I think that the U.S. is right now. There's trouble everywhere, of course, but a lot of countries will welcome you, and you don't know what is available until you go out and taste it. And so much of what we read in the media is not true or is overblown, because dramatics is what sells newspapers and stuff. So my sense of it is, if you have the dream, go out and take a trial run. And I say this all the time because so many of my readers will never travel. They'll live vicariously through what we write about, and they'll never go anywhere for whatever reason. But some of them, they're just, from a standpoint of personality style, we have the hunters and we have the farmers. We are hunters. We'll go out there and we'll go look at new experiences. The farmers stay home and they take care of things. And it's those farmers that will live vicariously through our travel stories and through the podcast. But I challenge them to go farm someplace else. If this plot of land seems to be boring, let's go someplace else. And even if it's you find someplace that's comforting. Example, when I was first looking to go to Asia, I was told to go to Singapore because Singapore English was one of the primary languages there. It's so Western that you will feel comfortable, and it's a good segue into Asia. And so I did, because it was dipping my toe in, and I thought that was cool. That was fine. And then when I left the States to kind of recover from the economic downturn, my best friend said, he had just come back from Thailand. He said, "Go to Thailand, you'll love it." And I went and I tasted. I went there for a few weeks and ended up coming back, packed up my stuff, and left. And that's my sense of it. Go, call it a holiday, call it a reconnaissance trip, call it going out for a taste. You're not moving there unless you choose to. Call it a vacation, for heaven's sake. Because all of us as nomads, we're all tasting the world. I created a summit called the World Playground Summit with the idea of making the world your playground. So my sense, I think, for everybody is really, don't take it so seriously. Go do one trip. You've gone on vacation before, right? Well, go on vacation again, and then go on vacation again, and then go on vacation again. And then soon it'll become a lifestyle if you choose. You'll learn to pack lighter, so
Yeah.
because you don't need half the shit you take.
Yeah.
If I can travel the world with like this backpack and a rollerboard that's carry on, anybody can.
Yeah.
So
That's all that we have as well. So that's part of the deal. So
yeah, Steve, I traveled. I was in Nepal with my mom years ago. I do a lot of traveling with my mom. She's a great travel partner, and there was one woman on this trip. We went up into the Annapurna range. We did the Pokhara run, 4 days into the mountains, and this one woman who was small and thin and so on. She traveled with one little backpack, just a backpack like what I showed you, nothing else. And the rules were it could not weigh any more than her. And the reason she did that is because that way she could run for a train or a bus or whatever. She wasn't encumbered by stuff. And somewhere I have a video because I had her show me how she packs, but she only wears black so she can wash it and do all the different assorted ways of dressing herself. The woman was amazing, just amazing. And that's inspiring to me, learning all this new stuff. All the travel hacks, I love that stuff.
we do too. Okay. So we'll try to wrap this up here. We got one more question for you, and thank you so much, by the way. This has been amazing. So you've talked about some of your projects, some of the things you're working on. What's next? What kind of new projects, maybe travel plans, whatever you want to talk about, but what's in the near future for you?
Well, certainly more travel, but I'm launching another newsletter for my sense of being a digital nomad is really two sides, right? Number one is we got to fund it. Actually, number one is travel, is to enjoy the world. But number two is how the hell do you pay for it? And what I want people to get is more ways of optimizing their business life. How can we spend more time playing and less time being a slave to our jobs, or if we're working for someone else, or to the job we create for ourselves, our businesses. So I'm launching something new. It'll be out in a few weeks. You're the first to hear about it, actually. It's called the Daily Win. And the Daily Win is another newsletter. The scope of it is one idea that you can implement in your business today. Not 74, not 5, one thing with part of the Daily Hug built into it. So it's a business motivational thing. And we're having experts, people both that are published authors as well as just entrepreneurs, sharing their best idea, their best hack, whatever it may be. And that's going together right now. And that'll be another free piece. If people want to learn more, they can buy trainings and courses by those gurus. So that way there's a reason for them to play. And we'll have sponsorships and so on. I'd like to get Amex to sponsor it, actually, because they want that small business client. Yeah, so it's going to be called, and I couldn't get the URL for it, so it's dothiswintoday.com. It's not ready yet, but that's what it'll be. And so that's one of the things I'm building. But the big thing I want to warn everyone about is lifestyle first, business second. And whatever you choose to do, don't have it screw up your ability to live free and not be, going to another country and being stuck in a coffee shop all day is not being a true digital nomad. That's just not the lifestyle. And I've done that far too many times. So like, why go? First few days in Colombia, I was just inside this coffee shop. So my mom was like, why did you go there? What was the point of flying there? You idiot, and she's right. So everything that we do needs to, in my view, be something that you can A, do remotely, and B, do hands off. So you have a team that does for you, whatever. I mean, for example, Daily Hug, I put in a prompt. I run, a couple weeks at a time, give it to my VA in the Philippines. She formats it, throws it into our software, and I'm done. And it's manageable. It's great. PrideNomad comes out every Tuesday, and I put about 3 hours into it each episode because I want it right. And I do it myself. Ultimately, there'll be someone else that does it because it should be done by somebody else. I'm a publisher, shouldn't be the writer. And as much as we can think, and Dan, I forget his last name right now, he talks about who, not how. It's if we can have someone else do it for us, so much better. So yeah, that's what's next. And there's a bunch of other things. The Alex Listens piece for loneliness is in the process of being released. And I've got a whole bunch of other software that we're developing right now as well. I mean, a lot of software that we're developing.
Love that.
Yeah. So subscribe to PrideNomad or better, or if you're not part of LGBTQ, subscribe to Daily Hug. It's mydailyhug.com. And eventually people will hear more about all the shit that I'm doing as I do it. And if you are subscribing, tell me that you came from this podcast, because I did not give anybody any specific coded links yet. We didn't do it yet. So I want to be able to tell Jack and Steve, guys, you're freaking awesome. Thank you so much for all those people.
Yes, awesome. We'll be sure to link, in this episode, in the description, wherever it's published, so people can find you, engage with you, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Well, I want to give you guys a shout out before we close this thing up, because it's one of the things I do. Aside from it's hard to listen to all these podcasts and watch YouTube videos and everything. So my little strategy, my little hack is I transcribe it and then I read it. It's much faster to do that. And I'll even put it into ChatGPT and say, what do we need to know from this? So you did a podcast with, and I forget her name right now. Hold on a second.
Christine?
Yeah. Well, she talked about what she does with life coaching and so on. And I thought it was a really cool idea. So this morning, because it's 8:00 in the morning here, I threw it into ChatGPT. I thought I can create a software tool that will analyze your skills, your abilities, and so on, and come up with a bunch of different things you can do remotely to live your best lifestyle. And we're now building software for that right now. And this happened from within the past couple hours, all because of your show. So
wow.
So between the two of you and Christine, holy shit. So there's merit to everything. Listen to what these guys are doing. And now I've got to go and transcribe the rest of your shows. What other ideas can I come up with that I can build? Because it's cool stuff. And we can do this because I have a whole software team. So thank you. Yeah. So and that's something you wouldn't know unless I shared that with you, but that is literally right now. And I'm creating a whole new branding around that. I can't tell you what it is yet because it's not, we're still developing it, but that's the effect that you guys have, which is pretty cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. We're full of good ideas. We like to think, some are good, some are bad. But we appreciate it.
Where in the world physically are you guys right now?
I'm in Montreal, Miami, Montreal.
Oh, cool, man. Okay. Yeah, my mom lives in Aventura, so I'm up there pretty often. So
nice. That is close.
Nice.
That's close.
Yeah. It's but I'm happy you're here. I'll be back there next month. Actually, I've got 3 different events and a couple cruises to do. So
let us know when you're over this way. Maybe we can hang out. And
I missed you in December. You'll appreciate this. I was short on, because I wasn't traveling as much last year. I was short on qualifying for 1K with United. And I like United primarily because of their upgrades and being able to get into business class when you're 1K, especially being in Australia. So I was really short. I ran 3 round trips from Miami to Seoul back to back at the end of December last year. It was like $5,000 I spent on this, but I got my 1K back. And I was connecting a lot through either Toronto or Montreal. So got to know that airport pretty well. And overnights in Montreal. Love Montreal.
Yeah. Montreal is you're talking about party cities. It's a very energetic kind of party
God,
city, so it's
so
great.
So is Miami. I don't know if that's people know about that, but
I've heard
Miami
about
is
it.
definitely a party town. It definitely is a party
yeah.
town. Yeah, but no, I've always loved Montreal. And then Winter Carnival up in Quebec City. It's just, yeah, there was a.
I'm heading there next, so
Are
I'll have
you?
to report back. Yeah.
I've been back there in
Yeah.
forever. It's been a long time.
Dude, let's go. I might meet up with Steve. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Come on up, dude.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
about it.
Yeah. Well, that's, there was a company they went out a few months ago, Remote Year, which was a great idea. Where you travel as a tribe. And I don't want to do that for the gay community. I just need to get the numbers up to make it make sense. Because I don't see it as being a profit center, but I see it as being a lifestyle centric type of thing. It'd be a lot of fun. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Fun. All right, you guys.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
That was awesome.
Thank you so much. That was great.
Happy to share it.
All right.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate you a lot.
Thank you
Have a
so
good
much,
one.
Ken.
See ya.
Bye.